We just wanted to come out and let his family know and him know, and the police department know that we're here to support them.
Right now at 6 o'clock, the memory and legacy of fallen Hartford detective honored by the community. More on that message ahead.
And severe storms rolled through the state yesterday, causing quite a bit of damage in eastern Connecticut, when the National Weather Service is expected to get here to survey the damage.
And we're going to have an update in a years-long effort to bring a grocery store to Hartford's North End. We'll tell you what people in that area say a store would mean for them.
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good morning. Thanks for choosing to be with us here at Fox 61 and Fox 61 Plus at 6 America areas.
And I'm Tim Lammers. You're going to notice a difference when you step outside today. Things are a bit cooler, and then the humidity is gone. Added up, it's pretty brisk as we get over to meteorologist Matt Scott. And I do have to say, boy, if things had turned out just a little bit differently with Lee, today would be the day. Man, we got to scramble. Everybody's got to prepare hurricane preparations. I am so glad we don't have to deal with that.
Can I get an amen, church? I mean, that's really what it comes down. You're absolutely right. And we're going to talk about Lee all morning long because Lee is close, but not close enough to really do any major injury around here. This is the calm after the storm. Humidity on hold for a while. Not a thing going on now other than a couple of residual clouds that are coming in from the north and the west. There goes the last of last night's rain. Tough night for Rhode Island and the Cape, just south of Boston, even Boston getting into it too. 63 right now in Hartford, New Haven, 66 in Groton, but there you go. The dry air still holding on a little bit, pushing out of southeastern Connecticut, but it's going to win out. 59 now for the high schoolers at the bus stop, 74 later on. Ignore that, we'll fix that. It's sunny, and that's the way we like it. I got so used to putting rain and storms and humidity into forecasts, it's almost like the computer was like, yeah, we know, and it just didn't change. We'll have the forecast for the weekend and check on Lee as well coming up in a bit. Rachel Piscatelli, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. So nice, finally, some comfortable conditions.
Right.
We can breathe a sigh of relief. We do have some road closures to tell you about, though, from yesterday's storm, so I want to bring you to that. And also a crash, so heads up for Fairfield County travelers over on the Merritt Parkway in Norwalk. Southbound crash just after exit 40A. We do have lanes blocked in the area. All right, we're taking you to eastern Connecticut now. Bear with me. We're going on a field trip. This is going to be in Brooklyn, Route 169 Canterbury Road. The road is blocked because of some damage from yesterday's storm. This is unrelated to the weather, but eastbound 84 over in Farmington, the exit ramp to Route 4 westbound is closed. That's going to be exit 39. That off ramp closed this morning due to some road work. And then over in Roxbury now, Route 67 Baker Road is blocked between Route 199 North Street and Century Hill Road due to the weather that we had yesterday. That is a look at your traffic. We'll take another look at your drive times coming up in just a bit, guys.
Well, the Hartford community is taking some time, as it should, to support its police officers this week as they are grieving the loss of one of their own, Detective Robbie Garden, who was killed in a crash last week.
Another officer, Brian Kearney, was hurt in that crash, and there's some good news about him this morning as well. Fox 61's Brooke Griffin is live at Hartford Police Headquarters with the very latest. Brooke, good morning.
Good morning to you both. Yesterday was a pretty emotional day for the Hartford Police Department and all of the officers and staff here as their fellow co-worker, Officer Brian Kearney, was released from the hospital. And then just a couple of hours later, a vigil was held by community members here at the Hartford Police Department, just as a way for everyone to show their support for those officers. Now, this all happened exactly a week after the crash that killed Garton and seriously injured Kearney. Dozens of people gathered to pay their respects, show support, and even add more flowers and gifts to the still growing memorial set up on a police cruiser. The cruiser itself is no longer even visible when you walk by it. Mothers United Against Violence organized that vigil. Hartford Police Chief Jason Thody told everyone he's grateful for the people who have reached out to them during this time of need. Many people shared memories of Garton, all saying that he was an excellent police officer.
You know, we talk about community policing. He epitomized that because he was part of the community into the fabric and took after his father. He's going to be missed.
And this vigil comes right after that Officer Kearney was released from the hospital. You can see the emotion as dozens of officers got to see their friend heading home for recovery. Chief Thody says Kearney has worked hard on his recovery so he can attend funeral services for his partner this weekend. Those services for Detective Garten will take place tomorrow and Saturday. Several road closures are planned for the Celebration of Life procession on Saturday as well. We have that information there on your screen, and you can of course find it over the next couple of days on FOX61.com as well. Now, the biggest thing to note for tomorrow is that the wake for Garten is going to be held from 2 to 7 p.m. over at Duncan Park, across from downtown here, across from the Hartford Police Department. You can attend that. All of these services are open to the public. Just keep those in mind as you are also traveling in this area tomorrow and Saturday. Live in Hartford, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Brooke, thank you. And we will continue to honor the life and career of Detective Robert Garten. Stay with Fox 61 for more coverage as his colleagues and the community that he served remember his service. You can get the very latest on FOX61.com and streaming anytime on Fox 61 Plus. Jury selection is set to begin in October on the 4th in the trial of Michelle Troconis. She's charged with a conspiracy to commit murder and other crimes in connection to the disappearance and presumed death of Jennifer Dulos. Yesterday, the judge denied Troconis' request to move the trial from Stamford to Hartford. Troconis has pleaded not guilty to the charges against her.
5 former New Haven police officers who were arrested in the Randy Cox case want their criminal charges wiped away. They've applied for accelerated rehab to get their misdemeanor charges dismissed. Now, last year, Cox was in custody in a police van in New Haven when it stopped suddenly. His head hit the van's wall and he was paralyzed from the chest down. The van was found to have no seatbelts or restraints to try to prevent that kind of thing from happening. So 4 of the 5 officers were fired following an investigation. The 5th officer retired before he could face discipline. Tonight in Torrington, the State Fraternal Order of Police is expected to speak up to support a former police sergeant who has not been reinstated, even though a state labor board said he should be. Gerald Peters, or Jay as they call him, was fired in 2021 for using excessive force. But back in March, the labor board said there wasn't just cause for his firing and ordered him reinstated with full back pay. The city hasn't done that yet because it says it's appealing the decision. A former aide with the Department of Children and Families is facing charges. Eliza Rijos is accused of sending inappropriate texts and pictures from his work phone to a 15-year-old girl while being assigned to her family's case. That's according to state police. Officials said this happened last year, between July and September. And according to the arrest warrant, Rijos resigned last week after DCF officials showed him some of the text messages that the girl's uncle had sent them. The DCF commissioner released a statement on the arrest saying in part, quote, "I find this alleged behavior by this former employee to be egregious and reprehensible and should be addressed to the fullest extent of the law. No child or youth should be subjected to or victimized by this type of behavior."
This morning in Hartford, residents are speaking up amid recent efforts by the city to open a full-service grocery store in the North End. City councilors passed a resolution to begin a study on how much money the city would need to operate a grocery store. According to the Healthy Hartford's Community Action Task Force, since the 1960s, Hartford has lost nearly a dozen supermarkets. Today, there's just one in city limits. That's the Stop and Shop on the city's far west side. Residents we spoke with say a grocery store in the North End would change their lives.
If you don't have transportation, then you cannot get an affordable priced groceries to make a meal.
And my friend gave me a ride down here so that I don't have to keep asking her every 2 minutes during the month to come take me, you know. So we're getting enough so that we don't have to keep asking her to take us.
Hartford City Councilor Tiana Hercules says she hopes this issue becomes a thing of the past.
This shouldn't be something that we are discussing in 2023 in one of the wealthiest states in the country, that we have one of the, most deprived cities in neighborhoods facing food insecurity, something as basic as food, which it really is a basic human right. It's not a luxury.
The city is expected to get an estimate on how much money would be needed to make this a reality by early next spring.
New this morning, registration for the Little Manchester Road Race is going to begin on October 1st. The Manchester Road Race shared that, the committee shared that news overnight. Now, if you're not familiar, this is it. The Little Manchester Road Race always happens on the Saturday before the big race on Thanksgiving. It features non-competitive fun runs for kids aged 12 and younger. Organizers said this year's event is going to happen November 18th at 10 a.m. at the Manchester High School track.